Folks, welcome to another edition of my DUI defense video blog. Today we're going to talk briefly about blood tests and how they could impact the success or failure on the defense of your case. I get a lot of people that come through and say, Bill, they've got a blood test. Isn't that the most accurate testing method? And if so, how do we even begin to fight it? Well, on one hand, those assertions are correct. Blood testing is by far the most accurate method of determining somebody's blood alcohol content. However, as accurate as it is, more things can go wrong conducting a blood test and sampling that blood for the blood alcohol as opposed to a breath test. While a breath test may not be nearly as accurate as a blood test, because it's simpler, there's less things to go wrong with it than a blood test. For example, there could be problems with the collection of your blood. Was the blood collected by an RN? Was the blood collected by a police officer? Were the tubes gray top tubes, or was this a hospital blood draw? Was the blood tested on a gas chromatograph, which is the gold standard, the scientific gold standard, and they use that at the Health Environmental Testing Lab up in Augusta, or was it tested by immunoassay? And that is the least accurate method, and that's usually the method employed by the hospitals. Did they test whole blood or serum? Was the gas chromatograph working properly? Has it been maintained properly? Was it calibrated properly? Were there problems with the tests for other people's samples that were done on the same run as your sample? Was the specimen properly stored prior to shipping it off to the Health Environmental Testing Laboratory, or did it sit in the back of the police officer's cruiser in the trunk for a month in July when it's 95 degrees plus out every day? Were the tubes inverted by the person who collected the blood? Was the sample properly documented? Is there a chain of custody? There are so many things to look at when it comes to blood testing, and so many things to go wrong that it's really in your best interest to come speak with a qualified OUI defense attorney, someone who understands all of the protocols and testing methods out there, and to look for the weaknesses in the case, because it's ultimately the state's burden of proof to prove that you're guilty beyond any reasonable doubt. And in the case of a blood test, they've got to show that everything was adhered to when it comes to testing procedures, and that there's no problems with the chain of custody, with the storage of the sample, or the testing methods itself. But again, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. So if you've got questions about your OUI case, give my office a call. I'd be happy to sit down with you and discuss all the things that we can potentially attack when it comes to the state's blood test results. I look forward to speaking with you soon. Thank you for viewing.